Hey, I'm Jason Harrell.
And I'm Justin Boyd.
And let's freaking do this.
Welcome to episode number 28 of Let's Freaking Do This. My name is Justin Boyd. Once again, I'm thrilled to be joined by my good friend, musician, Jason Harrell. Jason, you're in a different location this week. What's going on?
I am. I'm live from the studio from Mr. Jaret Reddick.
From the daycare. From the
daycare. Yeah. It's funny because looking at this screen, I feel like claustrophobic or crowded or something. Like I'm not used to seeing this many.
There's a lot of talented people and me in this room right now. So, but Jason, why don't you introduce our special guest this week, and then we'll also talk about our co-host, our special co-host. But we've kind of already heard from him. But go ahead and introduce our guest, Jason.
We got Mr. Chris Simmons.
Hello.
What's up, man? So
I don't know.
So Chris is coming from some kind of like I don't know, daycare room with instruments.
That's kind of funny. I had a different idea. I get, it looks different in person. I'm looking at it. It looks kind of whimsical.
I think it's because the video is just kind of, I don't know, whatever.
I think the colors are more saturated. It does look kind of like a romper room or something. I just moved in here yesterday, and I moved a couple years ago and built a new studio, and I got out here by myself and just decided to get crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's supposed to be Emerald City Studios.
Okay.
It looks amazing. It looks like you're in a pediatrician's office. Is what it looks like. Like it looks like you're taking your kid in there and somebody's getting a fucking shot.
Yeah, well, I can give shots.
That's the well room.
Got it.
The well child space. I don't know.
Yeah, but while they're waiting for the doctor, they can play drums, or there's a multitude of guitars.
This is just the waiting room.
It's the greatest waiting room of all time.
That's it. Instruments everywhere.
Yeah, that's right. Play the drums, play the guitar. You might write a song.
So that's your studio. Like that's where you record out of.
This is my new control room.
Control room. Okay.
And because I'm not a very good carpenter or apparently a designer, it took me a really, really long time to do this. So I just said I'm gonna finish the control room and then I'll move out of the house because I was in the den, which you can't rock and roll too hard all the time in the den. So
right.
So I came out here and did this. Now I've moved out here. On the right in front of me is an empty room with a bunch of wood and saws and tools. It's going to be a lounge. And over there is going to be a big live room. But who knows when that'll happen.
Yeah. It's like a work in progress.
Because also, I'm doing it myself and I'm slow and I'm not very good at it.
We should back up and you should not take anything whatsoever that I said seriously about it looking like a playroom.
I'm angry now.
Stupid.
I told him before the show. It looks awesome. Looks great.
I own it. I did it. I own it.
Yeah.
I think it looks incredible. I'm serious. Like I love the vibe and it's just it's cool. Like I would love to walk into that,
That's what I said.
By the way, I'm Jaret, and it's great to be here too.
Yeah, we should say that. So Jaret co-hosting this was kind of a pragmatic and cool thing that we were able to do because I came up here anyway to be in a music video, and I'm like, so we're gonna have a podcast that night, and I was gonna just do it from your house. But hey, you should be.
I'll just be on it with you.
Be on it with us.
Well, and then the freaking guest is Chris Simmons. By the way, you need to mute your phone because it's dinging, like it's just continually dinging. It's underneath that little black bag over there. I'm gonna be honest.
Podcast etiquette, man. Come on,
Justin. I don't know.
You know why it's dinging? It's because Jaret keeps sending text messages.
Yeah, well, we're working on a video for tomorrow. I gotta say this. First of all, this isn't my show. I was excited about this because Chris Simmons, you and I go way, way back. I mean, like back to the late 90s with Cadillac Voodoo Choir and Bowling for Soup playing together in Abilene, and then ended up playing a bunch of shows together. But then I will never forget this day as long as I live. We were playing, Bowling for Soup was playing the Metro, and the sound guy in Austin, Texas, and the sound guy was playing this album. And I was just like, who the fuck is this or whatever? And he goes, oh, it's this band Ultrasonic. And I'm like, what? How do I get more of this? How do I learn more about this? This album is fucking unbelievable. It's so, every song is just a masterpiece. It's just so well written. And then come to find out, it's you and Taxi and Danny from Cadillac Voodoo Choir and doing this band. So luckily for me, we drug you guys around and played a bunch of shows together. So I got to see it live a bunch. But recently, Taxi and Danny opened up for Bowling for Soup in Waco, and I got another copy of the Ultrasonic album. And here's what's crazy: we put that motherfucker in, and it's just
There it is.
It's just as good as it was back then. It's the songs are so insanely well written. It's like one of those records where there's a bunch of them in my life. There's a Grand Street Criers record. There's you guys. There's, where I'm just like, this, it should have been huge. And I feel guilty because I'm enjoying it all the time. It just, God damn it. Anyway, Chris, it's great to see you, man.
Well, it's great to see you too, Jaret. That was very, very nice of you to say all that. And when I pull it out every now and then, listen to it, and I think that was pretty good stuff.
So great.
And at the time, it's hard to recognize how good I think it is now, right? I look back and I think, well, maybe I shouldn't have left Austin. Maybe I should have stuck it out. But I'm still proud of it.
You guys were so far ahead. I mean, you guys, it's like the pop punk genre was just being created, and you guys were sort of like in that, but there's also like an alternative feel to it or whatever. And that record is just so great and so well written. And of course, Dwight Baker from Podunk produced it, and another guy that we knew from back then. But honestly, man, I still think all the time, like, man, we should fucking do that song called Kill Myself as a cover in Bowling for Soup, because it is so,
that'd be awesome.
We could do that,
man.
yeah.
It's so good.
Yep.
It's so good. But you guys in Cadillac Voodoo Choir y'all were so great. Everybody was such good players. You guys were destined to blow up, and then that doesn't happen. You form Ultrasonic, should have been destined to fucking blow up, and I'll never forget one time you guys opened up for us at Curtain Club, and you just came out and you go, "We're Ultrasonic," and then y'all just fucking went into their first song, and I was like, God damn it, man, it's so good. I was so jealous of you guys for being so good.
Well, that's very nice to hear. We were jealous of you guys too. And you said you felt guilty for listening to it and enjoying it. I feel guilty because I didn't recognize that maybe I should have put more effort into it.
Oh, interesting. And I feel guilty. I feel, because I think the whole world should have it, is what I mean. Like, that's what I meant by that. Like, I'm like, it's like that, like an Ashtray Babyhead record, and you're just like, the fucking world needs to hear this. Like, this is as good as anything that was out at the time, and you guys had stumbled upon it, and for whatever reason, damn.
I feel like I've over the years, I've recognized in myself that I don't have the burning desire to make sure everybody hears my music.
Interesting.
I have a burning desire to make it and record it and play it.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't have that overwhelming desire to make sure everyone hears it. I'm not sure why.
That's an interesting thing, Chris, though. And sorry to take this over, Justin. I'll hand it right back to you in just a second.
No, you're good, man. We appreciate having you on.
That's an interesting thing, though, in the world that we live in right now, where it's a musician's job
Yeah.
every day to sell yourself on social media, on this, on that, right? Where,
Mhm.
So you're one of those guys, you're saying that like you're there, you're writing, you're in the trenches, you're doing this or that, but it's like, is social media like a burden? Is it one of those things where you don't wake up and feel like you got to post 5 things?
Well, I feel like here lately, I've been trying to make content, expose people to my songs, because I do feel like I should do that, but it's not the innate desire. Like I've always had to write songs and to record them and make them sound the way I want to hear them. Once I record them and listen to them, I'm like 99% satisfied,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
which is bad or good. It's bad.
I
I
think,
guess.
I think there's a lot of people like that they have everything that is needed for that recipe to make good shit, good art, and then they need somebody else to take over to like shove it down people's throats.
Yes.
Because like
Yes.
a lot of us just
It
hate
doesn't
that.
feel natural to me.
Yeah,
For some reason.
It just doesn't feel like it's in your wheelhouse, probably.
But interestingly enough, I mean, that's sort of like what we all grew up listening to, like 80s metal and that kind of shit, where that's what they were doing. They were creating this kind and even like 80s hip hop and early hip hop shit like that. They're creating this. And then there's a marketing team that comes in and they do all that shit. And so like back then it was like, you knew about said band, what said magazine wanted you to know that particular month.
Right.
That's it, and that's 2 months later than when it actually happened.
Yeah.
So, you were always wanting more. And now we're in a world where if just speaking for myself, if I don't post something like, hey, this is what I had for breakfast today, then the whole fucking fan base is like, something must be wrong with it.
Like Jason Isbell has been posting pictures of his shoes.
Yeah.
Like just his
He
shoes.
is killing on Instagram, on Twitter right now.
Twitter, on everything.
Jason, he is killing right now. So funny.
Yeah, I want to do that stuff somewhat, but then I just kind of lose my steam on it. I feel silly posting, saying here is what I've done today, or I just feel silly. I feel like who the hell cares about that? So I post pictures of me fishing, and if I get a new guitar, I'll post a picture of that. But it's like the publicists in the 80s and 90s, like you're talking about, they craft the story, they release it, and that's what you know.
Yep.
Now that's up to me. I don't know what the hell to do. I don't want everybody knowing every single detail about every day.
Yeah.
I don't think, it doesn't,
That's the weird thing.
but then I got to choose what to put out there.
Right.
I want to look cool, but I don't want to look like I'm not cooler than anybody else. Yeah. I just want to look cool, but I'm not.
I've
So
read
it's just silly. It feels silly to me.
where like they tell you to go post the shit that you're eating for breakfast and stuff like because and it makes sense. There's a part of it that makes sense because people will follow you for your music. But then it's kind of like the opposite, like what Jaret was talking about with the magazines. You read that, and it was actually a conversation that happened 2 months ago.
Yeah.
But you have the opportunity now, like I could see what Chris Simmons had for breakfast. Like I'm living with, like I'm participating in his life.
I had eggs and bacon, eggs with cheese and bacon, and
over easy, or what'd you do?
scrambled. I put them in the microwave because I'm lazy. Scramble it up.
It's a time thing.
Did you
right?
put ketchup on them?
Yeah, I've got a system where I don't have to spend too much time on it. Bacon goes in the microwave. Eggs go in the microwave.
Well, Chris, you mentioned creating content on your YouTube channel. You've got a lot of new videos, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But you have a short video. It's a pretty funny video where you're basically doing like a beer promotion, promoting a beer. Like that stuff's pretty funny. Like I think that was pretty well done. That short. I don't know if who's seen that yet, but that's that's the kind of stuff that's the kind of content I think that works the best. If you can be funny, like Jaret knows that. Jaret's funny. He, uses humor to his advantage. And I think that's the best way to do that. I don't think telling people, basic stuff or, like breakfast or normal day stuff. No one cares about that. But if you can be funny, because people not only do they like your music, a lot of times they like your personality. So if you can sell that,
I think for Chris too, though, is that like, I think just as laid back, there's a Southern aspect to you, Chris, that people would be drawn to. But let's not forget too, that you can fucking shred. Like you can literally play anything on guitar that you want. Like
It's
literally
not exactly
anything.
true, but I appreciate
It is 100% true. You can literally play anything on the guitar that you want. And like, that's the kind of content too, that I think people would lose their minds over. Because that's the deal with that. Like even back in the ultrasonic days, it was crazy because Chris was, he had this band behind him. They were all great and so talented, but Chris, was writing these insane songs, and then he would just shred and play guitar shit where you're just like, I don't even know how that's even a thing.
I remember because there's not a lot of like fast licks on the recordings, but you would see him just like pull them off, just randomly. Like
he would throw shit in,
that dude just fucking ripped the solo.
Yeah, he would do it all the time. Yeah,
but you've actually done beyond the ultrasonic stuff, and then with your solo stuff that you put out, you've been the guitar player for some pretty big acts.
Yes, I have. One really big act, and now I'm actually playing on the road with a guy for the last 4 years named Paul Thorn. He's not a legend like Leon, but he might be one day.
He's a fantastic songwriter.
Yeah, he is.
Are you guys on the road a lot?
About half the time. It's about like when I was with Leon Russell.
Okay.
I about half the time. I left Austin. I thought I'm going to go to Los Angeles, chase this music dream, because this whole ultrasonic thing isn't good enough. That's silly. It's so silly because like I listen back and I'm like, what was that? I don't know what I was thinking. I didn't know what I was doing. That's why I'm sitting here in this romper room studios. I don't know what I'm doing. But I went out there and stayed a year in Los Angeles. I joined a band called The Royal Fever and just sang.
That.
I just had this feeling like I just want to sing. I don't want no guitar.
Right.
I just want to strut around. And I had fun. It's not really my thing. And I enjoyed that band. We had a few good songs too. But I was like, I guess I'm going back to Alabama because Los Angeles is not my cup of tea. 6 months after I moved back to Alabama, through Zach Baker, who was the guitar player in Ultrasonic, the last guitar player.
Last one. Yeah, a couple.
Yeah, my cousin Adam Dooley was in there.
Couldn't think
Brian
of his
Huffman was the first from Cadillac Video Choir.
Yeah.
But where was I?
I moved back to Alabama.
So Zach Baker was the guitar player, the last guitar player in Ultrasonic. He got a job with a booking agency booking Leon Russell. So for years he booked him. He got my buddy Jason Spiegel the gig when he had an opening. And I was still with Leon Russell. I mean, I was still with Ultrasonic at that time. But
are you swatting at bugs or what is?
Yes. My studio is kind of out in the woods behind my house, and when I open the door, they flood in. It's like they know what they're doing.
I saw you. You did it a couple of times. I was like, "What's happening?"
I'm gonna pretend like they're not there because you probably can't see them on the camera. I'll just be cool about it.
I would say just swat the motherfuckers. They deserve to be swatted.
Okay. Live streaming murder.
I mean, if they'll like and subscribe, I mean, let them be. But
These are my biggest fans.
The thing that first crossed my mind, did you guys watch the TV show Wings? And there was an episode where Lowell, who was the airplane mechanic, he was sick and he was trying to work on the airplane while he was drinking too much cough medicine, and he started hallucinating. He's like, I could fix this plane if it wasn't for all the bats.
Man,
Never saw that show.
I'm gonna be honest. The fact that you just went to the show Wings,
Was that
It's-
30
it-
years ago?
what a fucking deep
You know
cut.
what's crazy? It's that show was such.
But
as crazy it was such a big part of Justin and my
Lowell,
friend
though,
group.
I mean, I like
he
the
was in that
show.
wine movie. Remember the wine
Yeah.
movie
Yeah, with that
with Paul
Paul
Giamatti?
Giamatti.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, well, that's him. That's the guy. But and
he
then
was
he's
also Sandman.
he's
in,
Sandman. Yeah,
he's one of the
Spider-Man 3.
yeah. My God, you went with Wings.
He
That
did.
girl fell down the fucking stairs at the Emmys one year. And all of this is all I remember about the show Wings.
I'm sorry, I totally derailed the conversation.
Yeah, I don't think I ever saw one episode of Wings.
Yeah. Well, you and I were trying to be famous in musicians in
That's
bands and shit at the
And
time.
I was watching TV.
Hey,
It's true.
Chris, who was the bass player with like the blonde curly hair that moved from Alabama to be in
Carl.
Ultrasonic? Carl.
Carl Ray Hopper. That's right.
So do you remember when we played in, man, I hope you remember this. We played in Abilene, Texas.
Copper
and-
painting.
We used to play at no, that's San Angelo. You're thinking Steel
Okay.
City. We played
Abilene.
at Bob's, but we used to stay
I
at
can't
this
remember.
at this little hotel called the Candlelight Hotel. Anyway, I'm hoping you remember the story, but each room had like 3 or 4 double beds, right? And so we were like, hey, we're staying here. You guys come fucking hang or whatever. And a homeless guy like stumbled into our room, and we were all in there eating Whataburger and drinking and shit. And this guy like tried to start a fight, and fucking Carl flies across the room. I'll never forget this as long as I live. And he goes, I'm cocked and loaded, baby.
I do remember that. He's like this. I'm cocked.
And
Don't
I'm
make me
cocked
pull
and
the-
loaded.
Don't make me pull the trigger.
We were like, exactly. I swear to God, that's a true story. And like, we were like, we got to get this. He's going to fucking kill this guy.
Was that
you know?
a Super 8 motel?
It was just this little shitty hotel that we stayed at back then because we could afford to sleep in a bed. Not
That
in
was
a
a
van.
different story I was remembering. With a different band. You
Idiot.
weren't there. But at the Super 8. But I
Thank
do
you.
remember the whole I'm cocked and loaded.
Cocked
Don't make
and
me
loaded.
pull the trigger.
Luckily, I got my act cleaned up. I'm not homeless anymore, and Carl didn't hit me.
He's
so.
fun, man.
You're doing well.
We all just had so much fun. You know, I stay in touch with Danny and talk to him. You know, we text every once in a while, taxi a little bit, but it's really good to see you, Chris. Seriously, man.
You too.
We had a lot of fun. We played a lot of fun shows. You know, those were fucking days.
I wish I could remember more of it. honestly.
Yeah,
I really
right.
do.
Yeah. Well, I drink too.
But I come to Austin a couple times a year now, and I've seen Taxi a couple of times
Yeah.
when I come into town. But I'll be back there with Paul Thorn in October.
There you go.
At I can't remember the name of the venue. It's on Lamar. Used to be a church.
This would be a great social media post, Chris.
Yeah, I'm great with stories and remembering details. So
Don't know where I'm playing. Don't remember the stories. So
I'm just like a leaf on a stream.
we were in the middle of a story about how Zach Baker got you hooked up with Leon Russell.
Yeah, got me the audition with Leon. I was living back in Alabama, back where I started, more or less, and I was playing in a local blues band.
Yeah.
Just making a fair living, playing in a local blues band.
Mm-hmm.
And got a call from Zach, said, Leon needs a guitar player. Would you like to audition? I said, yes. Because it had come up before when I was living in LA, but I had committed to that other band. And I said, I'm sorry, I can't do it. Well, the fellow that got the gig at that time left fairly quickly, and the opportunity came up again. And before he could get it out of his mouth, I was like, yes, 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 because I regretted it, you know. But I sent him about 3 minutes. He wanted me to just record myself playing the guitar a couple of minutes. Sent it to Zach. He sent it to Leon. 10, 15 minutes later, Zach called me back and said, if you want the gig, you got it. I said, I want it. Wow. I played with Leon for 5 years.
No.
And part of that time you got to it was during the time that Leon and Elton John toured, right?
That's true. Yeah. That's something that when it's brought back up and I remember that it happened, it feels surreal. You know, we did I believe when the band went and I was there, we did 11 shows. The first night the Leon Russell Band came out. We played like 25 minutes, and then everybody left the stage, and then Leon played with Elton, or maybe Leon left the stage and came out about halfway through and played the rest of the night. The next 10 shows, though, I got up and played 2 songs a night with Elton John.
Jesus Christ.
That's what I'm saying, you know. And I forget about it sometimes because I forget things. Like I said, I'm like a leaf on a stream. I can't remember.
You literally make your social media posts like every other day, just like, hey, I played with Elton John.
When it comes up in conversation, I do bring it up. If it's like, if I can angle it in there. Yeah. But
you got some pictures of it. You can throw those.
There's some video. There's some video because I saved that video. I was like, I better say that in case, because it sounds like BS.
When you look back on all of the things, that's got to be up there.
Oh yeah, it is.
But as far as those moments of like, I can't believe this is happening. You know, what are the ones that stick out?
Well, there is actually standing on stage with Elton and
wow,
and Davy Johnstone right to my left, and Elton's band, everybody. And during the song, Elton's like on his piano. He turns like this. It's got a huge grin staring straight at me. And I'm looking at him and I'm like, this is happening. But, you know, the same thing happened a couple of months into the gig with Leon. I was so nervous that it took me a couple of months to calm down enough to realize where I was and what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, you know, I looked over and said, that's Leon Russell over there.
Yeah.
I remember learning his songs to play when I got my first paying gig at the Holiday Inn, you know?
Yeah. Wow.
And then there he is. And now here I am. It's very unreal, surreal, you know?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a great way to do this thing.
Big shows, right? like I have to imagine thousands of people, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, when we play with Elton, that we're playing these arenas.
Yeah.
And there's 6,000 to 10,000 people. And if you've never done that before, you know, you play 100, 500 people. That's one thing. You play to this sea of humanity. My body was, you know, I felt like it was electrified.
Yeah.
All the chills going up. And I was like, I got to get over this so I can actually play the show. And after a few shows, you calm back down and get used to that. And then, and the same thing happened. With Leon, we toured 1 month straight with Bob Dylan. We did like 22 or 25 shows in a month.
Mm-hmm.
And all those crowds, same deal.
Jeez.
And Leon let me play a solo song almost every night. And on the Bob Dylan tour, I played a solo song. I played a Robert Johnson blues tune by myself every night. And that when the crowd made their noise, it was it doesn't even register.
Yeah.
It makes, you know, the chills go, it's crazy. it's off the chain, off the hook.
You know, I had a similar experience at the Three Links.
What? What are you talking about?
This is another
So
Wings,
Wings.
joke, right?
Just for the show Wings.
On the show Wings. No, we played a show the other day at this little bar called Three Links, and Jaret had to pee, so I played a song. So that's my story.
No, not only did he play a
I'll
song,
stop
but
talking. You tell some more stories.
not only did he play a song though, he didn't play the song that I wanted him to, because he has a new single coming out, and he is so fucking good, Chris. Like this Jason.
I
He's
also think I'm
he's
way
in-
funnier than I am.
That's true. He's not funny, but is really talented. But I got to tell you this about him. He is such a fucking great songwriter and such a great musician that I worry, that I'm going to lose him. But at the same time, like, I want the world to hear his shit. But he has songs where it's just like, God damn it. The fucking world needs this. Anyway, so yeah, I got to go pee. And Jason played a song. And at that point, I made the decision from now on, anything over 45 minutes or an hour, he's going to play a song now, because it was awesome. And the audience loved it. And man, he should have that time. It was so cool just to hear everybody stoked. And my father-in-law was there, who's a musician and only 2 years older than me. And because I'm a fucking rock star.
That's right. Congratulations.
Thank you, brother. You were instrumental in that. We came up together. But seriously, Jason fucking killed it, and it was just so cool to just see the audience react to that. And so,
see, this is actually the goal of most of these podcast episodes, is to try to figure out a way to turn it around and make it more about me. That's the thing.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Well, speaking of that, I want to know, like, the backstory. Chris, you've known Jason for a while, or you knew him, back in the older.
I actually wonder how much Chris remembers. About.
It's not a lot. I mean,
so
but only because I don't remember a lot about much for some reason. I don't know. It's not because I was drinking too much, probably, but I don't know. My brain is crazy, but
yeah, I actually hopped in the van with you guys several times. Me and my friend Eric hopped in the van with you guys, and we went to Temple and a couple of different places.
That rings a bell. See, I forgot about that, but that does ring a bell. We went to this place in Temple, and it was like a teenager show, right?
Well, what I remember is it
like
was
they
like
let all ages show.
What I remember about it was like you couldn't drink unless you bought like a membership or something. I guess Temple might be dry or
that's
something.
just Texas.
Yeah. You have to buy a membership.
It was Sam's. Y'all were at Sam's.
Oh,
okay.
no, I'm not joking. Like, that is,
It's a lot.
as you become north, Denton is still like that.
Yep.
You show your ID and you pay $1, and then you're a member of the thing. Yeah. So there's.
I remember that, and at one point we did a similar thing, went with y'all wherever, and ended up. Well, we came back to the house because we were all in the van, and Eric and I were sitting there, and we had a beer, and you said something along the lines of, "You can sleep on my couch, you can eat my food or whatever." It's like, but don't sleep with my wife.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
It's like, damn it. That was the
I'm
one
accommodating, but up to a point. Yeah.
But, we were really big fans. I mean, I'm still a big fan, which is why I wanted you on the show. But that album, like Jaret was talking about, that was a big deal. And then I think, because I was like hanging around all the time at all your shows, like somehow or another, I got a demo CD for the next batch of songs that I guess you never really released.
Do those exist somewhere, Chris? Is there like unreleased Ultrasonic?
There is. Well, Kill Myself, we recut. And like both versions, but I felt like at the time we had a different drummer, and we recorded the second one without a click track, as I recall. The first that record is, that record it's on the click.
Everything should be on the grid forever. But
Well, that's
you
your opinion, man. And sometimes yes, but at that point we wanted to. We were running hot. We were hitting on all cylinders at that time. I moved to Texas, and I joined up with 3 Texans and started Ultrasonic. Yeah. And then one at a time, everyone from Alabama moved out, and it was all Alabama.
That is exactly how it happened. And I remember that. I remember because, again, we played together throughout all of that time. And one guy comes in from Alabama, next guy comes in from Alabama, and you guys are just back together.
And at one point I felt like we were really hitting it. It was like, let's go in the studio and recut. I want to cut Kill Myself, no click. Let's rock and a little more rock and roll, I don't know. And then I wrote another song called Yesterday. Do you have that one? Is that
no, but I'd like to hear it.
So here's the thing. I've got the CD and it looks great. It won't play on anything I have. It's a CD with a printed label on it. Like you must have done it from your home computer or something, because it was just a demo, I think.
Also, let me just chime in for those of you guys who are listening. A CD was a disc-like thing. It looked like a coaster. And it was silver, it was sparkly and shiny.
It looked like this.
It looked
well,
like
yeah,
that.
this is a good one. And you would place it into a drawer, and the drawer would go and go in, and then it would play music. And you see how there's numbers, all of those would show up, and you go from there. So anyway, everybody's in the know now. Go ahead, Jason.
All I can think is that maybe the CD has MP3s on it or something.
It's probably it.
Maybe.
It's probably just not formatted for.
I don't have I only have the.
So basically, the answer to the question was no.
Yeah.
I mean, I have the CD, and I remember
I have trouble with it too. I tried to upload it to my Dropbox, and for some reason it was some other WMA, Windows Media.
That's right, and you can't get that shit to play on your iPhone.
That's what it
You
was.
motherfuckers with the PCs. Oh yeah, we all had PCs.
I don't like the wars between the things.
I
think
know.
everyone should adopt the same thing and let it lay.
I agree.
Like records,
100%. Yeah. How do you feel about pineapple on pizza? I think to each his own. Who gives a shit?
I like it. I don't love it. If it disappeared forever, I wouldn't lose 1 minute of sleep over it. But I got no problem with people that love it. I'll eat a pizza.
It tastes delicious. You know what else is good on pizza? I'm going to go to the next level here. Corn. It's fucking good.
I've never tried it.
They do that.
Tried it. No.
They do it in Europe. It adds a cool texture to it, and I'm for it.
Like a crunch.
I'm not.
I'll
allow it.
You know how you put chips on your sandwich?
Yeah.
Same principle.
So, that's a good thing
Thanks,
too.
Chris.
Breaking some new ground tonight.
And we also in that we went to Roger's studio. What's Roger's White? Is it Roger White? Who was in the funk band with his dad? Mingo Fish Trap. Fish Trap.
Yes, Roger. Yes, of course.
Went to his studio and recorded those 3 or 4 songs.
Okay.
And it was Kill Myself Yesterday, which was not on American Freak, which is a newer song, which I like that song. It doesn't have a big chorus, but I like it. It's fun to play. But we recorded our version of We Are Champions. And I'm proud of that.
Now, were they already living down there, or did y'all come up here to do it? Were they living down in Austin?
Yeah, they were in South Austin at the time.
Okay, so by that time, guys, little trivia. Chris Burney from Bowling for Soup and the Feds were living in Roger and Mingo Fish Trap's house in Denton.
Wow.
Yeah, that's right.
I forgot about the Feds until right now. And we used to listen to them all the time too. That's crazy.
Yeah. What a
band.
I
forgot about the Feds too.
Man, we were all so. What was cool about that time, and Chris, I think you'll agree with this. There were so many of us, and we were sort of that we had this all in this together kind of attitude, and we were all so fucking good, and we knew it. Like we knew, like you knew your friend's band was really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and every night there were 3 or 4 of us that would play, and this went on for years, and we were just fucking great. Seriously.
Yeah.
And you just knew like we were beating the shit out of these people. And man, it felt good. And again, Chris and Ultrasonic, huge part of it. And again, this goes back to, I mean, honestly, Cadillac Voodoo Choir, we were opening up for you guys at Bob's and in Austin, you know, and then obviously later we, you know, met again, and just, God damn, we were all just so good.
Yeah, Cadillac Voodoo Choir was a great band, and I was only in that band for 8 months, I think.
Really?
Yes. I joined up right before the whole going to Texas touring thing.
Okay.
And that's the reason I moved to Austin, because I went out there with them.
Yep.
And we toured with Ugly Americans.
Yeah.
Oh.
Bob.
Yeah, and Breed Love.
Oh, yeah.
And
Oh, wow.
Did some shows with you guys.
Yep.
And I was like, this is where I need to be, because
Came to Austin because of
there
that
was all
whole-
these crowds of people that love music, and everywhere we went, the sound guys knew what they were doing. The monitor guys knew what they were doing. Everybody took care of it. I was like, this is what it's supposed to be like. I'm moving here. So a few years later, I did. But
Makes a lot of sense.
I don't know exactly why, but I just didn't feel like I was a great fit after a little while with Cadillac Voodoo Choir. So I was just like, I'm out. No hard feelings, I hope, but I'm out. But I guarantee you, I realized how good the band was, and I had a great time playing every night. It was just like there was some soul, there was energy. Danny Smith was a big part of that too. I mean, he was like always throwing in his stuff.
Danny is such a talented guy,
Yes,
and
he is.
he's such a talented everything, like he can literally play anything. He's such a great singer, just one of those guys that you just want to absorb when you're around him, and agreed. He was sort of the life of all of that,
That's true. Yeah. I mean, everybody was great. The songs were great. The band was great, but he was like bedazzling.
Yeah.
To the whole show.
You guys did have was the singer's name Chad? Was that it?
Chad Drummond. Yeah.
Yeah, he was a rock star. I mean,
That's
he
right.
he looked like Mick Jagger and Steven Tyler had a baby.
That's right.
And he just had a look, and he was like, he was blind, right? Like he couldn't see so well or some shit.
As I remember, he needed to wear his glasses, but he didn't like them. So yeah, he couldn't see.
But he just had this look.
You don't need to see to rock and roll.
Oh yeah, I agree. But you would look at the guy and just go, Jesus Christ.
Very handsome, pretty and handsome at the same time,
So I never saw Cadillac Voodoo Choir. I guess it was maybe right before I started, like, before I came to Austin and started actually going to shows, and I mean, I've seen videos, so that's why I know that it's like the Steven Tyler look.
Yeah,
honestly, but he had like Mick Jagger's mouth.
Yeah,
it was fucking great. Like he just was this. But I remember you guys had a publicist, and I think maybe Chad and the publicist were doing it.
Well, maybe,
if I'm not mistaken. But the publicist used to tell the story as you said.
Well, I don't know.
Listen, I don't give a fuck. But and you don't have to say anything. But anyway, I'm glad that that's how we met, and I'm so glad that we went under. But what a cool run of shit that you've done. I mean, again, when you look back on those early days, and you were only in that band for a short time, but I mean, getting in that van and being in Texas for a short time had a huge impact on your life.
Yep, it sure did. It changed. I mean, I didn't know what I was doing in my life. I went out to Austin, Texas, and toured East Texas, and I think we went to Colorado too. And I was just like, "This is where I need to be. Where I'm at. It's not working." I didn't even know why. I just said, "This is where I need to be." So I went, and I said, "I'm going to start me a band," and that's Ultrasonic. That's where Ultrasonic came from. I got to get out here, and I got to do it something new, and I got to do it here.
Yeah.
And what was it that got you to then reach back to members of your previous band to get Taxi and Danny involved in that? Was it just,
Well,
hey,
it's I'm not exactly sure, but I know this: if you have a known quantity, you know what you like about the, like I said, I after a while didn't feel like I was a great fit for Cadillac Voodoo Choir, but I really did like the music. I mean, and I liked a lot about it. So,
were you writing these songs that would become Ultrasonic while you were doing that band?
Not most of them.
Because the thing is that, like, by the way, he has a song about Julia Roberts.
Yeah.
That is, it's so good. The whole record is good. Is it streamable? Like, can people listen to it?
It's probably on YouTube somewhere, as far as I
YouTube,
know.
Yeah.
Other than that,
It will be after this show.
Well,
We'll
I
do
have it on CD. I don't
Just
know if
kidding.
we've talked
Just
about
kidding.
CDs
Yeah.
yet, but I
they're
have
like
it.
tiny records, right?
Yeah.
Again, I got the visual aids for you, so I'll just
Do you
throw it
put
up there
the
one more
needle
time.
There
on
it is.
Yeah.
But you need to put a quarter beside it so you see that it's not a Betamax or a, I don't know, Frisbee.
Laser disc.
Laser disc. That's it.
Man, every single song. We would be we were in the van for 9 years in Bowling for Soup. 9. We started in 94. We got in the bus in 2003. We listened to this album at least 2-3 times a week forever. I mean, it literally, it was such a huge part of our lives, and just such a, again, I don't know that I could sing your praises enough for you to understand, because you and I obviously lost touch when you weren't in Ultrasonic anymore, and we went our way. You went to LA and then back to Alabama. But what this is one of those things where I could just say it to one of the guys in the band and they'll just go, "Oh man, what a fucking album. What an album."
I'll never grow tired of hearing this.
There's another story.
Thank you.
There's a memory that I have that I'm sure that neither one of you have. I think it was the demo that we're talking about. It was when I was running around in the van with you guys, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
You gave me a copy of the demo because you knew I was going to see all these Bowling for Soup shows, and I handed it off to Jaret at some point. But I'm sure that neither of you.
You handed me what?
A demo of Ultrasonic's
second record?
Yeah, the 4 songs that the
God, I wish I remembered that.
Yeah. I just remember doing it. I remember you because I.
Wait a minute. So you had these songs, you never heard them because it wouldn't play on your computer.
No, they won't play now.
Oh, they won't play now.
Yeah, I listened to them back in the day. But I've recently pulled them out and tried to play them. It won't play.
Man. Yeah, I
went to their taping. They taped. Well, I guess it probably would have been live. I guess the what was it, the KLBJ thing, the local licks that they did live on like Wednesday nights or whatever the hell it was.
Yeah,
you guys did that at least once, and I was there.
And where was that? Is it at the radio station?
The studio. Yeah, it was some kind of studio with it was like there was a live audience and everything, but it was pretty low key.
Wish I could remember that. It sounds like it was fun.
Lois Lowe.
Loris.
Lowe.
Yeah.
Yeah, she
was great.
She was the host of that.
Let's talk about what you're doing now, Chris.
Yeah.
So, obviously we've gone into the past so much, and I'm so happy to be co-hosting this episode. When Jason asked me to, by the way, Justin didn't know I was going to be here, and he's fucking bummed because he
No. This is great. This is great. I do less. I run the stuff. That's good. I'm in a good spot.
He hasn't got to say shit. But Chris, going through, again, just being and doing all of this stuff, what is next? Obviously Leon passed away. You're now on the road. Who's the guy again?
Paul Thorn.
Yeah.
Paul Thorn.
But are you're creating music? Are you writing music? What's going on with you?
Yeah, I always, every once in a while I'll write a song. Like some people will get up and they'll write a song every day or something. I don't do that. But when I get inspiration, I'll write a song. But when the lockdown happened, I started committing to writing one song every week, playing it live on the live stream. Right. And I wrote a lot of songs at that time. But it made me kind of take stock of when everything stopped. The first song I wrote was called Part of the Story. And it was an apology song to my wife because I felt like I was useless. I didn't ever expect that I wouldn't be able to do something to make a living. And I thought it was a passing thing because I knew some way, somehow I'm going to do something. But that was the feeling that I got. And I'm sure a lot of people got that feeling at that time. So I wrote that song, and then I did the thing, and I didn't want to play the same songs every week, but I wanted to play every week. So I said, I'm going to debut a new song every week, and wrote a bunch of songs. And over the years, I've gravitated. I did the blues thing. I did a couple of blues records. And I did a record that I co-wrote with a guy I met when I was on the road with Leon. And we co-wrote every song, and I recorded it and produced it in my studio. And it was more bluesy rock. But I've kind of gravitated as well, not away from the other thing, but into more of the Southern or, just songs, less guitar, more song, a lot of acoustic inspired stuff, just sit around with the acoustic when I was at home for 6 months straight,
That's a good t-shirt. Less guitar, more song. If you're not going to print that, can I have it?
Go ahead.
Thank you, buddy.
Wait, this is a good idea for his social media posts.
Oh, hold on. No, he already gave it to me, Jason.
You could give it back.
That's true.
Chris,
you don't have to, but you could.
Chris, listen, it's a good idea for your social media post.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. Don't give it back to me because I won't even use it. I'll forget about it by tomorrow.
It's like, what podcast? I wasn't on a podcast.
What happened last night? Where am I?
I got a question for you. So we're talking about going back to the question about what's next for you if you're doing, which I don't know if you actually finished your answer, but
no, I forgot the question.
Well, can we? I guess so. There's the first part is, can we expect solo stuff coming out at some point?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Well, I got the audition and joined up with Paul Thorn about 4 years ago now. It's coming up on 4 years. And 2 years ago, I left my home in Lacey Spring, Alabama, where my studio had been sitting for 13 years and recorded 4 records up there.
Yeah.
I built it just for myself. I had a few people come in, but it was mainly just for me. Recorded 4 records, and then we moved down here near Birmingham, Pinson, Alabama, and I didn't have a studio. So I've been kind of relegated to acoustic demos and some full band type demos. But, inside the house, I can't rock and roll while I know somebody might be annoyed. Somebody, my son or my wife. I don't want to be rude. It is my house and everything, but I don't want to be rude. So now I'm out here, I feel free. I feel I can go over there and beat on those drums, and I'm not going to aggravate my wife or son or the neighbors or anybody. I got this place insulated.
Yeah.
And
How old is your son, Chris?
14. He'll
All
be
right.
15 in August.
Well, I am going to get your contact info and steal you from this show so you can come do a show with me and Gary called the Rockstar Dad Show.
Okay.
And we just talk about being dads.
I love to talk about being a dad.
All right, let's get back to Chris Simmons on Let's Freaking Do This.
So Chris, I wanted to
okay.
mention that you do your YouTube channel. You do have new music on there. I've noticed you posted a lot in April.
Yeah.
The videos that you have on there they're very like artistic. I like the aesthetic. You're shooting in like black and white, these different like camera filters. It looks like. Tell us about that process and talk about these songs because the latest one is really good. It's called It's Starting to Hurt Sometimes, I believe.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Well, somewhere, I got this motivation, which, yeah, there it is,
Yep.
to just put them out there.
Yep.
I guess it's kind of scary, when you write a song. If I like it, that's good. But if I see if someone else likes it and they don't, that's not good. So you get scared. But I got this motivation to just do it whether I like it or not. So that's a phone. I put my phone down on the floor up against another chair, and if it's one static shot, it's all me. I'm doing it by myself, so I can't do a bunch of shots and moving camera. So I put it in the Adobe Premiere and try to make it look more interesting with one static shot. And this is, we load in. I'm there with Paul. We load in, we do sound check, and then we have 2 or 3 hours sometimes before the show. And I'll run somewhere where I can not aggravate people and play the song a couple of times. And sometimes it sounds good enough to put on. But, I edit it to try to make it look interesting and then put it out there and hope people like it.
Yeah, the videos look great. Like I said, you got five songs you posted in April, and the videos look great. The songs are awesome. Like I feel like you're kind of getting ready to put out an album or something. You've got a pretty good collection there. Yeah.
Thank you. I have been getting ready to put out an album for many years. I've got a lot of demos and a lot of ideas. And like I said earlier, a lot of those ideas, they're complete in here. And I'm happy about them. I'm satisfied with them. But then I got to do the work of putting them together and laying them down and mixing them and then putting them out. That doesn't come as naturally to me. I'm lazy.
Yeah. What was it? Somebody just told me recently that that part of it is a team sport in a lot of ways,
Yeah.
So, well, I was going to ask you this earlier. So you've clearly done the solo stuff. You've been the front man of bands, but you've been, the whatever you want to call it. Like you've been the guitar player in bands.
Side man.
Yeah, the side man. That's the term I'm looking for. What's like? Do you see yourself as like if you had your ideal situation, like, would you be fronting a band like full time, or would you kind of split it up like you're doing now? Or
I think splitting it up is better for me, because when I'm fronting a band and that's all I'm doing, my stress levels are a lot higher.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't make me happy. You know, I can't can't sleep enough every night. When my stress levels are high.
That I can very much relate to
But
that.
imagine side man though on, his level where, you don't have to worry about what you're going to eat every day.
That's right.
Like you don't have to worry about where you're going to be the next day. You don't have to worry about getting your family tickets and stuff like that. It's like, that's got to be a nice breath of fresh air. So I see what he's saying, Chris. I feel like, where you're at, finding that balance of like, okay,
Yeah.
also it takes being the side guy and, making your living that way takes the pressure off the other stuff. Right.
Right.
Yeah, it sure does. Yep. It
And
makes
you
it
can-
easier to write songs. And
Yeah. You can write your songs, you can do whatever. And you don't have to freak out about all your social media posts.
Exactly.
You
Yeah.
can just focus on
Mhm.
making your songs and doing them making them the best you can.
yeah, and that is what makes me happy, is writing a song,
Yeah.
demoing it, hearing it back, and either liking it all or not liking parts of it, fixing that. I like writing a song over a couple of years.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's how I
but-
wrote It's Starting to Hurt Sometime. If you go back in my Pro Tools and look when I started that song and said, "Oh, I got this idea," and I put it down. It was like 2017 when I started that song. And I
Wow.
finished it 2 or 3 years later. But
Is that song out for streaming?
no, it's not. That's all. Everything I've ever done has just been.
Hurt sometimes, right? That's the
Yeah.
song.
Yeah.
So I guess
and that's one of my favorite songs that
Yeah.
I've written.
Why is it that you don't try and get things streaming and stuff? You just, again, I think we go back. Are we going back to this interview when you said, I write this song, I finish the song, I listen to the song, and then I
want to move on to the next song.
move on to the next thing.
and then
I'm
it's complete.
satisfied with that song. And
Interesting.
yeah, and I recognize that about myself. So
Chris, are you writing songs for other people?
I have, but not enough.
Hmm. Interesting.
Not with a lot of success. That requires a pretty good work ethic. I think.
I agree. Plus, I fucking hate it. Like, you know why I hate it? Because you have this song and then somebody's like, oh my God, we lost Justin.
He said he was having audio issues. I think he must.
Okay.
Be breathing again.
Anyway, you have this song, you put it out there, whatever. Somebody's like, yeah, I'm going to cut this. And then 2 years later, they're like, I'm going to cut this. And you're like, okay. I think that whole thing is gross. It's hard,
Yeah.
especially when you put as much into a song as you do, and I think I'm the same kind of writer that, like, if I'm writing a song, like, I fucking mean it. Like, I want this song to come out. I didn't just shit this out.
Yeah.
So that we could pass it around and see who thinks it's good enough to record. Like, I meant this when I wrote it,
Yeah.
And so I could see how that wouldn't be your favorite world.
I agree with you. When I write a song, I mean it. It's precious.
Yeah.
But if anybody else wants to do it, that would be just very flattering. And if they wanted to change it a little bit,
Sure.
that wouldn't break my heart, because I can always go back and listen to my version. And if theirs is better, I'll listen to theirs.
Yeah.
That's kind of my take on it as well. I have written some songs that were kind of throwaway songs, like, because you mentioned you had gotten into the habit of writing a song every week.
Mhm. There's a few throwaways in there.
Yeah, I would imagine there were, right? Because like I like the challenge of writing a song, and the thread has kind of gotten stale at this point. But I kind of started this songwriting email chain with some friends where somebody throws out a topic, right, and then we just all write a song, and we have like a month to do it, or two, whatever it was. It started out shorter time, and then we were all too busy, and so it ended up being like a month. But those topics would be like food or whatever, and
Yeah,
like so I
that's a
wrote a song.
challenge.
I wrote a song about fried pickles. That was kind of a throwaway song. But most of the time, if I'm sitting down to write a song for myself, it means something to me. But like I understand what you're saying there. Like if somebody else wanted to come along and say that's a badass song, I want to do it. I'm gonna tweak this thing right here because I wouldn't say this word or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That's great, awesome.
Yeah, that doesn't bother me. That doesn't. I mean, if you're gonna co-write, you got to get over that first.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, why co-write? So when somebody else does this, takes something and changes it, it doesn't. I may disagree, but it doesn't break my heart. And I don't. I wouldn't throw my hands up and say, "Whoa," don't do that. I wrote that song. Part of the story I was just telling you about. It's the very first song I wrote after the lockdown began. So that was 3 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Something like that.
God.
I just changed a couple of words in it about a month ago.
Yeah.
Because I thought it always was good, but I thought somewhere in the back of my head, this could be a little bit better. So I did. I changed it, and now it's a little bit better.
So what song are y'all talking about? It's not. So you're saying it's not out?
No, it's not out.
It's out in terms of if you go look him up on Facebook,
Right.
you could go hunt down or YouTube. Probably you got it on YouTube, right?
Probably. Yeah, I think I did that one
that he's put out, but he doesn't have like a studio
version
of it. It's just like,
man.
But did that happen back in the day? Like, was editing your song always a big part of your songwriting process?
Well, not always. A lot of when I first started writing songs, no, I just wrote it, and I was kind of the opinion of what it is. It is you sing it. If you inflect it the right way, it'll sound good regardless.
Mm-hmm.
Right or wrong. I think some of my favorite singers and some of my favorite songs have really kind of simple juvenile lyrics if you just read them on a piece of paper. But if you hear the person singing it, it's perfect. Nothing wrong with it at all. But I did, when I was 21 or so, I started writing a song, and I did not finish it until I was in my 30s. Because I kept
changing
it, and I really didn't even have a completed song, but I thought I said, this is really good. I'm not going to half-ass the rest of it, so I did. And that song was Farewell for Now, which is on my Hallelujah Man CD.
Yeah.
It was a song about being out on the road, being away from home, playing music, being out. But when I was 21, I really didn't know anything about that. So I just didn't feel like I could finish it. And by the time I was in my early 30s, I thought, I know what I'm talking about. Yeah. So I finished it.
Do you send your songs to people? Like, do you get feedback from people?
Hardly ever. I mean, that's scary.
Yeah. I started doing that a few years ago, where I got a few people, just like 2 or 3 that I'll send them to, and but it's been useful.
I send them out to friends.
Yeah, I think if you're gonna go that route, like you said, it's scary. I think if you're gonna go that route, it's got to be with somebody you trust.
Yeah,
somebody who not only you trust to not be a dick, but also somebody who you trust their opinion on things like that. Because I've been kind of pushed into editing songs by suggestions. Like, I think you could make there was a suggestion on one of my songs, and the second verse, I didn't really I didn't take the metaphor as far in the second verse, and it was like your verse first verse in your chorus is really strong, but the second verse, like you kind of don't have any lines in it. You know, you don't have anything to catch the listener. So I had to go back, and that was really all it was. That was really all it was. Just like you can do better. And
Yeah.
so
Well, that's a good thing, but everybody's got an opinion about what it should be.
that's
Then
true.
you got to realize this is what I want it to be, or you're right, it could be better.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But that's good to let yourself be criticized, because you want the song to be better. Because once you make the song, it's not about you anymore, really. It's about the song. And
And who it connects with,
Yeah.
and then it's their song.
then it's not your song anymore at all.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's scary. You give away your song, and then whatever they interpret, that's what it is. It doesn't matter what you thought it was.
Cut it loose.
Did we get Justin back?
I'm back. I don't know what happened.
Hey.
This is never. I've been podcasting for 5 years. I've never had this happen. So, yeah, I missed about 5 or 10 minutes of what y'all were talking about.
It was
so.
the best stuff when you were
Yeah.
gone. We're not going to say it again, though.
Justin,
Yeah,
I am not kidding. It might have been the fucking greatest podcasting that has ever happened in history.
yeah, that's what I was worried about. But good to be back on the show with y'all. Guess let's start wrapping this up. Chris, it's great to have you on the show.
Wonderful.
We have your website at the bottom on our ticker, but how else can people find you? I know you're not a big social media guy, but you're on social media. So if you would like to plug, go for it.
Okay, let's see. Instagram at Simmons, SIMMUNZ.
Yep.
I do a little bit on there. I don't know. YouTube, I guess it's just Chris Simmons. I don't know. I really don't know. I really need to update that website too. I don't think I've done anything on there in months.
Well, all your links are in the description below. I have your Instagram, I have your Twitter, your Facebook, your YouTube. By the way, earlier you mentioned your We Are the Champions cover. It's on your YouTube channel.
Yes,
really
that
cool.
one is. I did upload that one.
It's very cool, along with all your new music. So people should definitely check out your YouTube for sure.
Appreciate that. Yes, please. No negative comments.
Yeah. Only good stuff.
Only
Although
constructive
apparently-
criticism.
Like apparently also the trolling and stuff like helps the algorithms too. So like go trash them too. It'll help.
Yeah, bring the trolls. Whatever. I don't care.
And also, you're playing with Paul Thorn. Do you have any
yeah.
upcoming shows you want to promote?
Well, let's see. With Paul, I'll be at the Caverns in Pelham, Tennessee, Friday night.
Okay. Yeah, I got a graphic for you here. Might help out.
Yeah, there it is.
Oh, hey.
Yeah,
we go.
Midtown Sounds Saturday night on the Southern Mississippi campus. Now I'm playing in Birmingham Sunday at the Nick, which I know.
The Nick.
That's right.
No way.
I know you know. Yeah, I'll be playing there for happy hour on Sunday, 5 to 7. Just acoustic solo.
Man.
And
Blast from the past.
Yep. And I think next Thursday or Friday I'll be at Saw's Juke Joint in Crestwood, Alabama, near Birmingham, suburb of Birmingham. Just playing some local acoustic stuff. But yeah, check out Paul Thorn. You're saying as a front guy or side guy, if you're going to be a side guy, which the stress level goes down, but you want to play with a kick-ass band, you want to play with somebody that writes great songs, then that's Paul Thorn.
I love it.
It's very satisfying to be on stage with him and the rest of the guys.
We should get some Jaret Ray Reddick shows with Paul Thorn. It would totally work.
I would love it.
It
Let's
would
do
totally
it.
work.
Please, let's do it.
That's a great idea.
So, Chris, once again, thanks for joining us. And Jaret, thanks for joining us also for special co-host.
Absolutely.
First time ever. Before we get you out of here, let's talk about what Bowling for Soup has coming up this week. Yeah, I've got some
Bowling
shows.
for Soup is in Amarillo on the 4th, and then sold out show on the 5th in the Colony, and then New Braunfels. I'm super stoked about this. It's going to be our first time to play with the band Laredo. So it's going to be fucking unbelievable. I can't wait.
We had them last week
Yeah?
on the podcast.
Nice. Oh, man, I love them so much. Band Laredo and Vandaliers on Amarillo and the Colony. It's going to be great. And then Waves in April, which is Dirk's Canada's band. So Dirk's Canada is Cody Canada's son.
Oh, okay.
Is going to also be there in New Braunfels. Jaret Ray Reddick show is May the 13th in Eureka, Oklahoma. There's just so much going on. Just go to JaretRayReddick.com or bowlingforsoup.com. And oh my God, Justin, you're so prepared.
He's the professional.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's a big show. Us, Fastball, and actually, this is a funny story that happened today. Zach from the Dixons sent me a text and he goes, hey, is it cool if Fastball use your drums? And I go, well, Jackson Humphrey is going to be drumming for us. So I just assumed he was using his dad's drums, which are the Nixon's drums. And he goes, oh, shit, I forgot. That's me. Jackson Humphrey, son of
John.
I know. I was gonna say he's the drummer for Seether. He's the drummer for he's just fucking best. And it's gonna be great. So, and then tons and tons of shit happening all summer. So that is at JaretRayReddick.com, bowlingforsoup.com, and I'm on all the socials. And man, this has been fun. Thanks for having me.
Very cool. And then finally, Jason, let's plug. You got a new song coming out.
Oh yeah, I do.
Tell us about it a little bit.
It's coming out on May 19th. I think when I originally posted about it, going back to social media and stuff, I put the wrong date, but it doesn't matter. I have links out there to pre-save it and all that stuff. So if anybody's looking, I'm honestly, if anybody's watching this, you've probably been spammed by me already on this. So
actually, but can I take a second and say, if you haven't pre-saved this, please do. This is one of the best written songs I've ever heard. And I'm not just saying that. I love the song so much. We're going to be doing this in the Jaret Ray Reddick set coming up. Once this is out, when you see us live, we will be playing this song. And holy shit, it's such a great song. So go pre-save that shit. Justin, do you have anything to plug today?
We have lots to plug. Let's go for it, Jason. Let's do it together. No, I'll do it. So we're on social media also. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter. We're at LFDT Pod. At LFDT Pod. Again, LFDT, let's freaking do this. That's a line we stole from a Bowling for Soup song. So thanks, Jaret, once again.
You're welcome.
Check us out there. We're also on Facebook because Jason created a Facebook page for us because we're going to take over the metaverse or something like that. It's going slowly, but we're making our way. Yeah. And also, I want to thank everyone who watched this right now or who will watch this later on YouTube. If you're doing that, we appreciate it. Give us a like. Subscribe to the channel. We appreciate that. I appreciate all the comments from people. Lucy, Michael, and Kirsten. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for commenting. Really appreciate that. And, also if maybe video isn't your thing, we're also on audio podcast platforms. Check us out on Spotify and Stitcher. However, if you're on Spotify, you can watch the video. Our video's on Spotify also. It looks better because it's on your phone. It's smaller. So check it out there. And so thanks for joining us. And as we're getting out of here, I just want to say to Chris and to Jaret, this is a really special podcast for us. A long time ago, Jason called me one day and he said, I think I'm the roadie for Ultrasonic. And I was like, that's awesome because I love that band. And that's crazy. And then
I love it so much.
Less than a year ago, he called me and he goes, I think I'm going to be the fiddle player for Jaret. And I was like, that's awesome too. This is great. Our favorite bands, you're either the roadie or in the band. So this is really special to have you.
I'm still the roadie for Ultrasonic. I'm pretty sure I am.
Yeah, you're still if Ultrasonic reforms, Jason's the roadie. So
hold
on 1 second. But no, this has been a really special podcast. So
Jaret has to pee, so I'm gonna sing a song. No, I'm just kidding.
Now that's fucking funny.
Hey, I said something funny. There we go.
He did it. It doesn't happen a lot, but sometimes it does.
Like a broken clock's right twice a day.
Twice a day, right?
Where do you think he went?
I mean,
we were saying goodbye.
I He just took it literally. It's like,
And he was just
peace.
like, wait, but he was like, hold on, I'll be right back.
I think he's gonna fly in with the guitar and just start shredding, like you said
Actually,
earlier.
Do you think?
I don't know.
No.
I'm going to be honest. It might be the coolest looking fucking studio I've ever seen in my life.
I
Pretty
feel
cool.
bad that we said what I said because it does look really cool.
Yeah, that's what you do, though, Jason.
I
You
know.
fucking do that.
I say the worst thing.
You do the foot in the mouth
Well,
so much.
I said the opposite before y'all joined, so like I think we're covered. But
No, I said it looked like a pediatrician's office, but I don't think that's far off. By the way, I just saw a bug fly by. I know what he's swatting at now.
yeah, he's got some.
He's
Do
not
you
on
think
cough
he's ever
syrup.
coming back?
Maybe he had to pee.
I mean, you were going to say goodbye. Is this the best?
I'll be
ending to
right
a-
back.
I gotta pee so bad. Jesus Christ. Okay, Justin, just say goodbye.
Okay, we'll wrap it up then. So for Chris Simmons, for Jaret, for Jason, I'm Justin saying thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time. Have a good night. Bye-bye.